Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to everyone who's come along to watch this presentation today. If anyone who's checked the ASX markets today, you'll notice we're down quite considerably. Takes a fair bit of conviction to get in front of a whole group of people and talk to everyone on a day when your share price is absolutely smashed. But we come into that with full awareness, knowing that our shareholders deserve to know exactly where the company is at every point in time. So I could have waited till Friday, but I didn't. I suppose it gives us a chance today to explain exactly what the results mean for our Cobar project, and I'll give you a bit more of an insight about what actually makes this company tick. So this slide is widely out of date when you look at the market cap, but what I will take from this slide is how proud I am with the people that I actually work with. You'll see the technical team at the bottom of the slide. We've now reached a point where we don't have to actively look for experts to come and work with Strategic Energy Resources. They come to us. And whether that's Steve Beresford in the nickel space, Chris Yates in the New South Wales space, CSIRO, Minex, the experts come to us because of the way we drive our exploration programs. We have a science-driven approach to exploration, which means we develop a hypothesis, we test it. If it doesn't work, we move on. And that's the important part with exploration, is to ensure that when you know it's not going to work, move on. The map on the right-hand side gives you an overview of the projects we're currently exploring, and I'm only going to touch on a couple of those. Neil Chalmers, our exploration geo, will be at the booth 101. Come and have a chat. We'll walk through the projects in more detail because I definitely don't have enough time to go through exactly all these projects. Strategy drives structure at SER, and we have a strategy to target the undercover, underexplored regions for copper gold in Australia. So every time a project gets thrown at us or a commodity gets thrown at us as a junior, we start by looking at our strategy. If it doesn't fit with a strategy, it doesn't work. Key part of our strategy is how we generate projects. We don't buy projects. We have the knowledge and the expertise to generate themselves. We generate them by looking at the undercover explored areas of known mineralized terrains. So where there is a deposit and where north or south, wherever it is on the same structure, no one else has looked. Or we recognise what is seen within industry, that no one discovers anything until the seventh person has looked at it. So we'll be the seventh person in an area that's long forgotten and apply a different technique or a different way of looking at that model. Once we get the ground, and it can take anywhere between 3 months to a year and a half before we get anywhere near a project, just based on the time it takes to peg a project, we then go through a rapid exploration with no fear of failure. And I'll show you exactly what that means on our Achilles project next. We then have to get to a point of conviction where we want to spend shareholders' money to drill test something. If it doesn't reach that metric, we'll sell it, we'll joint venture it, we'll move it on. We're not wasting time putting more holes into something which is clearly not worth spending money on. So turning our attention to what is, and I'm glad Glenn from AGC's here, from what is very topical at the moment, and that's the South Cobar region. We identified this project in open ground back in late 2020-21. And formerly, the Geological Survey Executive Director, Chris Yates, was involved with this project at that point in time. We secured a project on it being an undercover extension to what is the South Cobar region. We picked up a project that covered 8 exploration targets. And we've systematically since then identified and killed a couple of targets already and reduced our landholding to a point where we had what is fortuitous for us, Australian gold and copper to the north, have some phenomenal intersections. And the market at that point turned attention to us and said, well, you have Achilles 1, it looks like Achilles 3, why aren't you testing it? What are you doing about it? Little did the market know in the years beforehand, we were building up this target to the point of putting a drill program together. We had clearances, we had a diamond drill going to go and test it, but a flood came through, we had to walk away. But with some extra money in the can and some conviction, we went on and tested it. And the image you'll see here is from today's announcement, and you can see what the market saw, which was no blinding the results, and I put a metric of what everyone was looking for, which is Glenn's results at the top. But I see hope. I see a reason to continue. What the market hasn't seen is the area underneath what was the peak of the soil geochem anomaly on top of the hill with no assays, because we don't have them yet. They don't see the extensions north, east and south, where there is potential for further mineralisation. So that's the upside of what is a pretty downside day for SER when you're looking at the South Cobar project. And remember, this project had 8 targets, this one, and we're already looking at our next target and the soil program hopefully this year into next year will identify and bring that project from the explore phase, hopefully up to the resolve phase. There's plenty of things to unlock at South Cobar, and we're learning from our neighbours, and certainly we're still learning from the results that are coming. But it's not the only project. You saw we have up to 8 projects at any given time, and a number which haven't actually reached that first PowerPoint yet, where we've displayed what they are because they are still in application phase. While we drilled South Cobar, we are now actively pursuing an exploration program at our ISA North project. Again, this is the undercover extension of a known mineralised terrains. South of this project, a number of mines and major operating copper production facilities, and we're chasing the undercover extensions. This project was taken off Newcrest for zero in 2021, and we're now running through a detailed geophysical program in the next couple of months to define a target which met the criteria for Newcrest to drill, but land access was a problem. So one of the things we find as a junior, land access a lot easier to negotiate with landholders that can meet you face to face rather than meeting a bigger corporation. So the news flow from this project will be along the lines of geophysical programs at the middle section, the Nanu prospect, gravity magnetics, hopefully some collaborative funding from the Queensland government, and we'll get on down and drill what is a high conviction IOCG target in the northern area of Mount Isa. Touching quickly on one of the 2 joint ventures we have with Fortescue. Just over a year ago, Fortescue, after kicking the tyres for nearly 2 years, finally put their hand on the Kenobi project. Believe it or not, it's got nothing to do with the gold intercepts, which we think are worth following up. As you can see, there are a couple of there delineated before SER had the ground and subsequently since we've taken the ground on. Nor has it got to do with the sniffs of nickel undercover at our Tea Tree prospect and Kalaka drilling. It's all about copper for Fortescue, and that was the reason they see the copper potential being 140 kilometres north of Ernest Henry is worth being explored for. Since getting the project in the FMG SER joint venture, we've run 3 drill holes across the project. We spent nearly $500,000 upgrading the gravity, and the timeline is purely with FMG now on developing a modelling scenario around that gravity and then hopefully going into drill testing in the coming years. This is a project that's cost us nothing. In the event that we find Ernest Henry, we'll still have a foot on what is a significant deposit. As just going over there, some of the key metrics in dealing with FMG, we wanted to be ensured that we would still be around at the end of the day on the event, in the event there is success. We are drilling kilometre deep holes here. We are stepping way out into the undercover regions, and we have put a drilling metric in there that will see them get to 51% with at least another 3 deep diamond holes into what would be modelled as an Ernest Henry project, some 400 plus metres undercover. Stepping back into one of those early projects that have come to us, we're working with certain geological consultants. We get to see their ideas and thoughts about areas within Australia that are prospective but are not pegged, long lost or forgotten. One of those areas in particular is the West Coonamble region. On the other side of the Bacania Trough, S2R Resources is searching for nickel copper. We've taken a hypothesis that before the Bacania Trough was where it is, the 2 projects on either side of that trough were one. We know there's magmatic sulfides on one side. Our hypothesis is it extends onto the other side. A project that's cost us very little. We've since engaged CSIRO to help us in our understanding of the project. We're hoping to put out some exploration results regarding some soil sampling into the new years, and this will be a drill or kill exploration program. So the news flow is not finished there when it comes to SER. We do have 10 results from assays still left in the breeze. We have no idea when they could be, so anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks. If you're a shareholder as of today, you're doing well given how far we've come back. But we also have drill programs that we have put forward into next year, high conviction targets around our ISA North project and also around our Kenobi project where FMG are earning in. Thank you very much, everyone. If you want to see know more or see more, booth 101. Thanks.